Uganda have discovered gold deposits worth $12 trillion. This is good news for the country, and in most cases, it should be their ticket to becoming one of the wealthiest countries in the world. But you and I know it doesn't work like that when it comes to African countries. There is corruption and vast mismanagement of resources that will somehow keep the country in bondage. But there will be other players who will be contesting over these resources, and it's none other than the West, which is why I believe this discovery could be a blessing or a curse. Let me explain. Have you ever wondered whenever a country discovers vast wealth and resources, there is a sudden invasion by the West to spread freedom? Sadly, this is the case for most African countries, and it started decades ago, but this strategy is still being used on Africans. And I think it's important we educate ourselves enough to see through these fake interventions that the West provide. They can use many tactics to gain access to the gold, but we are only going to focus on two main strategies that goes hand in hand, and they've always used it time and time again. First, they could use Uganda's relationship with Russia as a pretext. Uganda's relationship with Russia goes back decades, and as a matter of fact, Russia was one of the countries which had anti-colonial positions on the continent. They established diplomatic relations with Uganda in the 1960s and signed trade agreements which helped Uganda develop its economy. With a lot of history between the two countries, it's not surprising that the current president of Uganda, President Museveni, has a great relationship with President Putin. So how can the West capitalize on this? With Russia's invasion of Ukraine in recent months, the West have sanctioned Russia on many fronts, and anyone who seeks to trade with Russia without the consent of Western countries are seen as somewhat an enemy. Best example is India. With the Ukraine-Russian war still taking lives, the West was disappointed when Uganda abstained to vote against or condemn Russia with its invasion of Ukraine. They can say that Uganda secretly supports the war, which makes it a threat to world peace. Some say Uganda did this to protect its neutrality, but it's not far-fetched that they can use this as a pretext to gain access to the gold. So how can this be a form of pretext? That is where the second step comes in. Before we continue, I would love to thank all my viewers for helping this channel reach 800 subscribers. I'm very grateful for your support in helping rebuild Africa. So if you are new to the channel, kindly subscribe and leave a like on this video. Thank you. Moving on. There could be a new terrorist group in Uganda. For the second step to work, they need to destabilize the country so they can come in and free the people. The best example you can get is the Middle East, so it's not surprising for people to believe that the main reason the West gets interested in any country is because of their oil and gold. Which begs the question, how can a new terrorist group be to their advantage? It's done in many phases, but I'm going to summarize it for the sake of this video. First, they need to destabilize the country, which is destabilizing Uganda's economy. This will create a chain reaction. Then, they will blame all the problems on the government, which will make it unpopular, thus creating tension between the people and the government. This will lead people to protest, and I bet some will turn violent. The Western media will play its part. They will label this human rights violation, adding more fuel to the tension. This will lead angry citizens to form small militias to take on the government, but in reality, it will be funded by the West. And as you might have already guessed where this is going, the country will be in turmoil and in desperate need of saving. And who will bring this freedom? Your answer is as good as mine. They will swoop in and liberate the people, and in doing so, their companies will gain access to the $12 trillion gold deposit, while the people in the country will be fighting for their lives. So, their win, our loss. Which is why I believe this discovery could be a curse to the country of Uganda. But it's not all doom and gloom. Uganda can protect itself and its interest And it starts with being really independent from the West. We should be able to make our own decisions without any outside influence, and we should protect Africa. And we can only do that if Africans work together. It's a long way to get this to work, but if there is a will, there is certainly a way. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.